Hello and welcome. If you are new, and welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, my name is Pam. I am the knitter, crocheter, homemaker, and day trip co-pilot here at Stitches and Prayers, my little corner of the internet where I discuss my yarn adventures and sometimes day trips me and my husband take on the weekends, and spreading the love of Jesus along the way. Welcome, and I'm glad to be here today. This is the third attempt at recording a vlog in the past 3 weeks. I recorded one 3 weeks ago, and when I went to go edit it, I didn't like the vibe. I wasn't getting it. So then last Friday I recorded another vlog, and when I went to go edit, none of the sound was so low and such poor quality. I could not do it. And I think I had my microphone, it's got a little light on it, and I was trying to hide the light, so I had it clipped like inside my sweater with just the tip sticking out, and I think that muffled the sound enough that you just couldn't hear it. So I was upset, and I didn't have time to record another episode. So here we are finally today. Better late than never, right? So what I have for you today is I have 2 finished objects and I have 2 new cast-ons. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is that I am wearing my Nebula sweater, my Cotton Nebula by Andrea Mowry. I've talked about this before. I finished it a few weeks ago. I wear it all the time, and it's one of my favorites that I wear. It's so much one of my favorites that I have another one. Ta-da! This is my wool Nebula, and I made this out of 100% fisherman's wool right here, and I made it in this color, which is oatmeal, and I made it in this color right here, which is natural brown. So the natural brown is the body, and then I used oatmeal for the ribbing at the bottom and on the sleeves, and then for the shoulder detail and around the neck. Unlike this one I followed the pattern. Having made the mistake with the neckline on this one, I knew to make sure I read it ahead and got that done correctly. In this, I had, I want to say, it was between 8 to 10 grams of the fisherman's wool in the natural brown, and then I think I had 5 or 6 in the oatmeal colorway that I started with, and I still have a small, I think it's only like 2, maybe 2 grams left of the oatmeal in the one that I used, so it didn't take that much of the oatmeal at all. And it took 1 full skein of the natural brown, maybe 2 grams plus that 8 to 10 grams. So it did not take a lot. I know I talked about I was going to make that wool edition the long sleeve version, but as I started thinking about it, I remembered that I'm a woman of a certain age and hot flashes are real. And during the wintertime, most of the time, I will only wear t-shirts or short sleeve shirts around the house, and when I go out, I just put a hoodie on. So I'm thinking that this will be enough for what I'm wearing, what I'm wanting. And if it winds up to where it's not, and I want something on my arms, I can always make some just some wrist warmers or whatever out of the wool to put on there so that I can wear it out and about. But I'm very happy with it. I want to say the size 2. I didn't bring my notes in, but I'm wanting to say I made the size 2 and just followed it to pattern. I made gauge. Everything's great. The last time I showed it, I was way down here at this blue marker. And so this was like exclusively almost what I worked on since I last shown it. But it has been done for 2 weeks. So, but it's been 55 degrees here in Illinois. I've dropped some yarn. And so wool is not what I was wearing during that. My other finished is a Project Marvin blanket. And I took off, oh no, I did not. When I showed it last, I was here at this little cupcake stitch marker. So I just was there. Wasn't very far along at all. Since then, I finished it. I did the ribbing, all of the edging around the edge. And all of my tails are even woven. There's not an empty tail in sight. So for anybody who is asking, what is Project Marvin? Project Marvin is, Marvin was my grandfather who passed away. It'll be 2 years ago this coming February. And Grandma wanted to make some lap blankets to take to the, it was a nursing home, but he called it a rehab. And so she wanted to make some lap blankets for the patients that were in there. And so I accepted the challenge, and I've been making them ever since. I've probably made close to 20. And I had these little guys made there that just say, in memory of Marvin Pace, God, or forever in our hearts. And I put those on my blankets. I know that when we called the nursing home that he was in, they already had a church group, I think it was, that donated blankets to them, so they were not in need of any. So we've been taking them. My sister took some of them with her when she went in she had breast cancer, so she took those in with her and gave them to some of the patients when she went in for a treatment. And they've been donating them to other places. I think that instead of holding on to them and shipping them and taking them up to Michigan when I go, that I might just get a bunch of them together and donate them to a nursing home here where I live. If you are interested in helping me in my endeavors to do that, I do have a Ko-fi, I don't know which way it's pronounced, account. It's always linked down below that you can click on that and you can donate to that to help me with the purchasing of yarn for that, if that is something you are interested in. So those are my 2 finished objects. Let's move on to my works in progress. My first one is one I've showed you. No, I did not, because I showed it on the episode that didn't air. So I had gotten to the sleeves on my Nebula, and I tried it on, and it was like tight. And I'm like, oh my goodness, no, please. So I'm like, you know what? Hold on. Let me block it, and before I go on to the sleeves, because if I had to, I would just rip it out and start over. So I blocked it, and it blocked out beautifully, but while it was blocking, I had nothing to knit on. So I cast on a Sailor Swift top by Veronica Lindbergh of Kuta Vakika. I am using my Drops Bell in color number 10. And I'm also using, because it's a striped pattern, my Sunday's Garn Tinleen. I don't know, Tinlina, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a Norwegian yarn. And it is, I'm going to think the color is 8532. So it's these 2 together. And those are both a cotton, viscose, and linen yarn. So let's see what I've got here. And got yarn all over the place. Goodness me. Could have done all that before. Oops, sorry. Moved you a little bit. So this is what I've got. When you start with your Sailor Swift top, you cast on the back stitches right here. Don't mind my little binder clips holding my yarn tails. you cast on here and you knit down all the way to the bottom with the shaping. It's on some try-it-on tubing. Let me take that loose so I can stretch it out a little bit. So yeah, when you cast on here for whatever size that you were picking, and then it's got some little shaping around here. And then when you get to a certain point here, you come back and you pick up stitches around the neck on both sides, and you knit down with some shaping for the front. And then you work down the front panel. Let's put it on. And then, oops, sorry. So you pick up stitches here, and then you work down, and you just do some shaping on the edges so that it tapers in, and then you join in the round, and Bob's your uncle. You work your way down, and you've got a tank top. This is a tank top by Veronica Lindbergh, and it's supposed to have negative ease. I don't like negative ease, so instead of knitting the size that I wanted, because she tells you to pick the size that's closest to your full bust measurement, and then you knit it, and it has negative ease, so it's small, and then when you put it on, it stretches across you. I wanted it tight, but I didn't want negative ease, so I went ahead, and instead of knitting the 44-inch, I went with the 52, so it's not baggy, but that it's just there, not, I don't know how to explain it, not negative ease, not positive ease, zero ease. There we go. That's what I'm trying to get to. So that's where I'm at. I have got, let's see how many, I have 3 more of these stripy sections to go. They're in it's an 8 from the first row of the darker green to the last row of the light green is a 8 stitch repeat, and so I've got 3 more of those. I'm in the middle of one here. I've got 2 more dark green rows, and then so I'm halfway through the stripy section here, and then I have 3 more to go before I join in the round. I'm hoping to get that done this afternoon. Me and my husband are taking a trip in September with my brother-in-law and my father and mother-in-law to Branson, Missouri this September, in just about a month. And so I'm really working at trying to get that done because it's still kind of warm here in September during the days. I am using my Chawagoo needles for my Sailor Swift top, and I'm using 3mm. And then I'll probably, and I'm doing something new. I'm learning a new technique because around all of the neckline and the armholes, it does an I-cord edging. And I've never done an I-cord edging, so cross your fingers, wish me well, say a little prayer for me. I have 8 of the bells, the drops bell, and this is my second one. And I have 4 of these, and this is still my first one, and there's still quite a bit on there. So I definitely have enough yarn for it. If it looks like I'm going to be close, when I get finished and then I go to do the I-cord, maybe I'll use that light green for all of the I-cord, because I'll definitely have enough of that left, seeing how I'm only in my first one, and I still have 3 left. So, and I'm excited to get to that new skill and learn I-cords. I've decided that this year, for the rest of this year, I'm going to do something, at least have one project on the needles that has some kind of a new technique, new skill for me to learn. But I did get gauge. Her gauge, well, yeah. Her gauge is 23 stitches to 35 rows. Now, did I do a gauge swatch? No, I did not. I just knit till it was 4 inches and measured it out. So my gauge is not, I've not blocked my gauge swatch, so it could go a little bit bigger. But with the cotton and the viscose linen blend yard, I'm I've not found that it grows a lot. This is going to prove me wrong because that's what always happens to me. But my gauge was 24 stitches, and 35 rows was 4 inches. So I think that's pretty spot on. If it's a little baggy, I'm not going to be too upset about it. I am going to make sure that I keep trying it on because I don't want too much gaping on the underarms with doing that larger size. So there is the Sailor Swift Top by Veronica Limburg. Oh, and I'm making the 3XL size. It's 50. I want to say it's a 52-inch bust, but I know it's a 3XL size. Alrighty then. And my next new cast on, I just cast on this last night, so it's not like there's a lot there to show, but I did a gauge swatch. Look at me being the best knitter ever. So there is my gauge swatch, and this is going to be the Zig sweater by Andrea Mowry. Again, I'm using the oatmeal and fisherman's wool oatmeal. I said that. And so all I've got is this right here. It is a split hem, and it has some color work along the bottom and on the sleeves. I will post the picture if I haven't already. So that's, but I mean, I've only got like an inch and a half of my ribbing. But back to my magnificent gauge swatch. My gauge is 19 stitches and 26 rows, which the row gauge will only matter. I mean, I knit things till I like the length of it. I know pretty much where I want things to hit, and I know that I need to hit. It's between like 13 and 15. Let me turn my volume. Okay. The row gauge really doesn't matter as much, just because I know that from where I want it to hit on my underarm to where I want it to hit underneath is between 13 and 15 inches. So that one doesn't bother me as much. But her gauge was 18 and a half inches from this stitch marker to this stitch marker, and mine is 19 stitches. So I feel like I am right there on gauge, and I'm excited about it. And again, I'm using the Fisherman's Wool. I'm using my Knitter's Pride needles, and this is the, I want to say 3.5, which is what she called for in the pattern. Now, what I need your help with is, like I said, it's color work, and it's got the main color and 2 contrasting colors. I definitely want to use this green, which I do not remember. Oh, it's missing. It's missing the thing. I don't remember the name of it, but I definitely want to use this green in it. And this is some 100% Peruvian Highland wool, I want to say, in a sport weight. And this is the exact same, but in white. It's called Limestone. So I don't know if I want to do this or if I want to do this. Now, I've shown you the picture, and on the sleeve there's a zigzag, and then it goes straight into one of the contrast colors is on the sleeve. So you do your zigzag, and then, if I'm remembering right, I do my zigzag, and then I go straight into the secondary color. This is what I want that color to be right there on my arm. So that's going to be that color. But I don't know which one I want. And, like, it's blowing out a lot. It's not, it's too shiny or something, I don't know. But it's not showing very good. It's called Clay Pot. Let me see if I can adjust this. How about that? Yeah, I turned that light off, my ring light off. So there's that, and then there's the white. And I need your opinion, because when I do like I was watching one of the podcasts that I watch, and they were talking about when you do color work, like take a picture of the colors you want to use and then change the picture to grayscale, and you'll see you want to have a dark, a light, and then a medium. So I have, this is my dark, and this is my medium, but then this one in black and white looks a lot like this one. This one is a little bit darker, so this is more of a light, dark, and medium. I'm leaning this way. I really like that there'll be that little pop of color, besides the green. So I need your help. Do I do clay pot or do I do limestone? And if I don't hear from you, I'm going to have to make a choice on my own, people. Come on. If you are only here for the knitting and crocheting part of my blog, I will bid you adieu. If you liked what you've seen, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Don't forget to ring the bell so that you will not miss a chapter. So with that being said, let's get into the prayers portion. All right, so a couple of weeks ago on the community tab, which if you have not checked it out, please check it out. I'm trying to be active on there, and I would appreciate you guys being active as well. But Wendy do $39.95. She commented on a post that was about what was your favorite hymn that you would like me to talk about. And hers was How Great Thou Art. I remember at school it was the Lord's Prayer. So, of course, I broke out my handy dandy Then Sings My Soul book. And I found, I'm sorry for my phone keeps beeping. I thought I turned the volume down. And I found the How Great Thou Art hymn. So, let's read it. It was written in 1885 by Karl Boberg, a 26-year-old Swedish minister who wrote a poem which he called O Store God, Good, G-U-D, Almighty God. The words literally translated to English said, When I the world consider which thou hast made by thine almighty word, and how the web of life thy wisdom guideth, and all creation feedeth at thy board. Then doth my soul burst forth in song of praise, O great God, O great God. His poem was published and forgotten, or so he thought. Several years later, Karl was surprised to hear it being sung to the tune of an old Swedish melody, but the poem and hymn did not achieve widespread fame. Hearing this hymn in Russia, English missionary Stuart Hine was so moved he modified and expanded the words to make his own arrangement of the Swedish melody. He later said his first 3 verses were inspired, line upon line, by Russia's rugged Carpathian mountains. The first verse was composed when he was caught in a thunderstorm in a Carpathian village. The second, as he heard the birds sing near the Romanian border, and the third, as he witnessed many of the Carpathian mountain dwellers coming to Christ. The final verse was written by Dr. Hine after he returned to Great Britain. Sometime later, Dr. J. Edwin Orr heard How Great Thou Art being sung by Naga tribespeople in Assam in India and decided to bring it back to America for his own meetings. When he introduced it at a conference in California, it came to the attention of music publisher Tim Spencer, who contacted Mr. Hine and had the song copyrighted. It was published and recorded. During the 1954 Billy Graham Crusade in Haringey Arena, George Beverly Shea was given a leaflet containing this hymn. He sang it to himself and shared it with other members of the Graham team. Though not used in London, it was introduced the following year to audiences in Toronto. In the New York Crusade in 1957, it was sung by Bev Shea 99 times, with the choir joining the majestic refrain, Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art. Okay, This is another song that I love. And now I'm going to say the words. And I will go through the chorus, nope, the verses, and then do the chorus. So, O Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, and power throughout the universe displayed. When through the woods and forest glades I wander, and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees, when I look down from lofty mountain grandeur, and hear the brook and feel the gentle breeze. And when I think that God, his Son not sparing, sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross, my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. When Christ shall come with shouts of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart? Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, how great, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art. We do serve a mighty and great God, and I look around at the things that he created for us and just marvel at the beauty and magnificence of his imagination. Father, thank you for the time that you've given us to come together. Thank you for the wonderful hymn that was written by these men, and that it was brought to the world, that it wasn't forgotten, that the words were not forgotten, that it was eventually brought around so that it became the hymn that it is today, and that we can sing of the wonderful God that we serve. Because you are so wonderful and so great. Thank you for the time that you've given us to come together. Thank you for the people who have stuck around. I hope that one of them can share the light of you and the light of Jesus through their words, through their actions, and they can be the light. In your precious name I pray. Amen. Again, I apologize for my phone going off. I thought I turned the volume down. I guess I didn't. And I'll endeavor to do better in the future. And until next time, remember, this world is not our home. We're just a passing through. I'll see you guys.